Every generation gets a promise. Ours came with wings. By the year 2000, cars would fly. Tonight, the Dossier reopens. They built flying cars. They even certified them. So where is yours? If you grew up in the 60s or 70s, you didn't hope for a flying car. You expected one. In 1962, the Jetsons made flying to work feel ordinary. George commuted by saucer, and nobody thought it strange. Popular mechanics promised flying cars for decades. Sleek little planes waited in suburban driveways beside the lawnmower. We went from Kitty Hawk to the moon in 66 years. A flying Chevy seemed like the easy part. Hollywood kept the faith. In Back to the Future, Doc Brown told us where we're going. We don't need roads. So we waited in traffic, watching brake lights, certain the sky above the freeway was simply on back order. Here's what most people never knew. The flying car was real, and it was parked in a hangar in Washington state. Open the file at the beginning. In 1917, Glenn Curtiss unveiled the autoplane, a winged aluminium limousine. Curtiss called it an aerial limousine. It made a few short hops, but never truly flew. Case closed. 1947, the Convair car, an automobile with a detachable wing bolted on top, flew over San Diego. Really flew. 3 days in, it ran out of fuel and crash-landed. The pilot survived. The program didn't. Then came the one that worked. In 1949, an engineer named Moulton Taylor unveils the Aerocar. The wings folded and towed behind like a trailer. One person converted car to airplane in 5 minutes. Here's the part that should stop you cold. In 1956, the federal government certified it. The flying car was legal. Ford took a serious look at producing it. This was real, and it was close. Taylor built exactly 6. 6. That was the entire fleet. The flying car existed, it worked, and the world bought 6. Why? This is where the file gets interesting. The answer is physics, economics, and a problem nobody liked saying out loud. Start with physics. Everything that makes a good car makes a terrible airplane, and the reverse is just as true. An airplane wants to be light. A car must survive a crash. Build both, and you've built neither. The Aerocar proved it. A slow, awkward car on the road. A heavy, modest airplane in the sky. Then there's fuel. Flight is astonishingly hungry. Staying airborne burns energy at a rate no daily commute could justify. Hovering is worse. Rising straight up demands enormous power. Gasoline barely managed, batteries never could. Gasoline holds dozens of times more energy than a battery. That single number grounded the dream for decades. Now the harder problem, the pilot. A flying car doesn't need a driver. It needs a trained and licensed aviator. Think about the last driver who cut you off. Now put that same fellow 300 feet over your house. A fender bender on the road ruins an afternoon. At 2,000 feet, there are no fender benders. Your car doesn't care about fog. An airplane does. Grounded every rainy morning, you're no commuter at all. Air traffic controllers guided thousands of airliners. Millions of flying commuters would have overwhelmed them. No system on Earth could choreograph rush hour in 3 dimensions. There still barely is. Finally, money. Aircraft are built, inspected and insured to aviation standards. Every honest flying car cost as much as a house. So the market spoke. Anyone rich enough for a flying car bought something better. A nice car and a small airplane. The quiet truth. A flying car was never one invention away. It was a compromise nobody wanted. Then came Paul Moller, a California engineer, and the file's costliest lesson, his gleaming red Skycar. Moller spent decades and tens of millions promising vertical takeoff from every garage. Investors believed him. In 2003, regulators brought fraud charges over claims made to investors. Moller settled. The Skycar never flew free. The flying car became a punchline, a con, a beautiful idea filed away. But the file stayed open. While nobody was watching, 2 things quietly changed. Batteries got dramatically better, and computers learned to fly. A modern battery packs several times the energy of anything the 80s could build. Electric flight finally started to add up. And the pilot problem? Computers now balance a dozen rotors hundreds of times a second, steadier than any human hand. The ugly name is eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing. Call it what it is, a flying car. This is not a prototype story. Joby Aviation is in the final stretch of federal certification, flying for regulators right now. Its rival Archer is close behind. Dubai and Abu Dhabi expect paying passengers this year. American cities are next. And the true flying car that drives home afterward, a Slovak machine, the Aerocar, certified in 2022. It converts from car to airplane in under 3 minutes. Orders are open and deliveries begin now in 2026. So the promise was kept, technically. Flying cars exist, they're certified, and some are genuinely for sale. The fine print about $1 million, plus something most of us never earned, a pilot's license. The air taxi companies did the arithmetic. You won't own the flying car. You'll hail one, with a professional up front. The flying car became a ride you hail, not a car you own. The Jetsons never mentioned fares. So the verdict. Not promise kept. Your driveway is still empty, not filed forever. They're flying over Dubai right now. This one earns the rarest stamp in the drawer. Case reopened. Watch the sky over your city. 60 years late is still arriving. Those who waited longest may yet look up and see the traffic. If this dossier brought back a memory, subscribe. The unknown reopened.